you only got 2 cents in your pocket. How Jay-Z gonna do a business deal with you? Huh?
Okay. But I've watched Boys Watkins in the past. I like a lot of his stuff, but it's also some backstories, and people he's wronged. I guess some other YouTubers and content creators that worked with him. Have you seen any of that kind of stuff?
You talk about Vicky Dillard?
Vicky Dillard, Michi X, and it's another woman that I didn't really watch, but her name is Paris Milan. And I've been meaning to ask you about it because I like Boyce because he kind of introduced me to Claude Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like his concept and some of the stuff he preaches. But, it's some of the other things like him being a businessman and being business minded, kind of thinking about things and strategizing to get money. And sometimes when you do that, you can kind of wrong people or take advantage of people. So some of the things he was doing was taking domain names and, just not paying people for their work and, kind of using them to his benefit. So how do you feel about that?
Well, with me, I support Boyce Watkins. I support Vicky Villard. I support O'Shea Du Jackson. I support
Right.
Kevin Samuels. I support most of those people. And
Uh,
I don't know I don't know both sides of the story and the truth.
mm-hmm,
So I really can't make a comment on that situation. But it is a business thing to buy domain names.
mm-hmm,
And like for example, the Tea Party, when the Tea Party came popular in 2010, 2012,
mm-hmm,
somebody already had that name, and the
mm-hmm.
Tea Party organization had to buy that name from them. So you can
Right.
see as an investment. But I don't know the dealings and the business deals between those associates. But all I know, if you sign the contract, don't pull a Megan Thee Stallion and talk about I want to get out. And
Right.
you could read, you could write. You
That's
had
a good point. Like, sometimes I think when you're doing stuff for somebody, you're doing it out of goodness of your heart and you want to help them, but you sign something that you don't agree with, or you're working on terms you agree with now and later on you feel differently about. So it's important to make sure when you're working with somebody that you're comfortable today and a couple of years ahead, and if you're locked into a contract with somebody, a content creator, you have
Mhm.
to fulfill those obligations. So it's something to think about. And I know he was supposed to pay people, and I've heard stuff like that. So I have looked into it some, and I'm on the fence. Like I say, I don't personalize these people. I take their content for what it is, and I use it for my own purposes. And I want to be somebody that is like a Boyce Watkins, or if not better. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not looking up to these people as if they're perfect. They're starting off doing things when we might not do everything the right way when we're creating and giving advice. So it's just something to pay attention to. And also, people are taking advantage of people in this community. They play on certain things, and so you have to be mindful of that too. So
Is Boyce Watkins playing on this community?
it's been alleged. Like I say, I think he does more good than bad. So I don't get into any of that kind of stuff. Like I look and see what he's doing. His channel has kind of suffered from some other stuff, and he still makes great content. Like he games, he gives good advice. I think you should take people at the information they're giving you. It was some little thing about an Asian guy that he worked with, and was saying. I don't know if you saw O'Shea Duke Jackson. That's what reminded me to ask you about it, because he did a video on Boyce Watkins and some of the hypocrisy that Boyce has.
About
So
Kevin?
yeah, Kevin, and working with Asians, and you're supposed to be one and pro black and all that stuff. But
Whoa, 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 whoa,
it
whoa, whoa,
is
whoa!
what it
Hold
is.
on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Just because you gotta remember, you could get money with anybody.
That's
You
true,
not
and you
you.
and you should get money with
Yes,
everybody,
you don't
because
necessarily have to agree only do business with a black person. For
right.
example, you got Dame Dash and Jay Z, right?
Mm-hmm.
They was both on the same level 15, 20 years ago. But what difference? Who made the jump? Who, like Jay-Z said, I had to smarten up, I had to open the
Yeah.
market up.
Right. Right.
Jay-Z was willing to open the market up and work with Anglo-Saxons and
Right.
other and
And why do you
others.
think that is? I think it's because we want to work with our people, but our people aren't ready to work with us like we expect them to be successful. So sometimes you have to do a lot of different business deals with a lot of different other people.
And Brandon, I will take you for example.
Okay.
You only got 2 cents in your pocket. How Jay-Z gonna do a business deal with you? Huh? I'm not saying you, but
Right.
in general, black people don't have no power, no
That is
wealth.
a good point.
So
That is a
how
good
you
point.
gonna
How you
how
gonna
we
go
go?
to how is he gonna go to the next level working with me?
Yeah, there you go.
That ain't no lucrative deal. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I think black people, man, this may be true statement, this may be a non-true statement, but melanated people maybe have an extra 2 to 3% of their income to splurge with.
right. For the
So
most part.
what you gonna invest 2 cents out of a dollar or 3 cents out of a dollar? What you buying?
Right.
Now, I did say this. You remember all those stimulus checks came out 2 years ago?
I do.
If every black person took
Phew.
$300 out that stimulus money, we could have bought the Atlanta Hawks and the Atlanta Braves before they won the championship. We had
That's
enough
true.
money to buy both of those teams, but we
Right,
can't
that's
work
true.
together.
Mm-mm.
Can I?
We might have been able to buy multiple teams. You know what I'm saying? Just imagine if we bought a bunch of teams, like 10 teams.
How you gonna buy 10 teams?
As a
Okay,
collective,
I can match it. Y'all can match it.
I'm just saying. But then that's the only way we're gonna control big industries like the NBA or the NFL. If we don't do something like that, we'll just be, contractors, like, just working for the owners and the millionaires and the billionaires. So if you don't own an industry, like we've said before, you don't have any power.
Now, speaking on Boris Watkins and Dr. Clark Anderson, Brandon, we can't own if imagination. We won't be allowed to own 10 teams. You gotta own a team
You're
where
not even gonna
black
own
people.
one team. You
Wait, no,
barely.
you can.
You barely. Okay, well,
You,
remember when Diddy and some other people was trying to do that? They're not about to sell us no team. They'll give you a piece of a team. Like Jay-Z owned a piece of the Nets for a little while to kind of boost the Nets up. And who Jordan owns a piece
Brandon,
of. Well, go ahead.
Brandon.
Go ahead.
Like I said, Boris Watkins, Dr. Anderson, you gotta own where you are to have a lot of population. Atlanta, is it a lot of black people in Atlanta?
There it is. But who owns the team?
But watch this. Malcolm X said by any means necessary and protest is a good thing.
Yeah.
Every if they won't sell us a team, ain't nobody going to no games.
There you go. Now that's what I'm talking about.
No, I'm talking.
But is that gonna happen? Is that gonna happen?
You can buy a ticket, but you got to get through 50,000 black people pay to whoop your ass if you go that inside that stadium.
Right.
Yeah,
those are some things we need to think about because that has been proven to work. Boycotting, like they were doing in the 60s and 70s, has been effective. That kind of boycott, you can't have people on the fence and not ready to go. You can march, but you have to physically stop spending money or physically stop, patronizing these businesses if you want to make real change.
Instead of saying boycotting, I like strong arm boycott.
Okay.
Pull an Amazon. What you doing? When Amazon want you, they ain't gonna buy you out while you hide. They gonna starve you to death and then buy it. So we need to starve those teams to death and then buy it.
I hear you. It sounds good.
Don't come up there with no picket sign. But come up there with you can have a picket sign, but have a brick in your back pocket just in case.
And you know what the owners are gonna do? They're gonna tell the players, go talk to the people, go tell them everything is okay, and we're gonna be working out some stuff. And just go. We'll throw you a little something on the back end, or we'll give you this commercial or this and that. Just go tell them everything is okay.
Well, and you still gonna have some people cooning. And you still gonna have some people sell out. Now, one thing you said about I can't really say nothing about Boris Watkins that they dealing because if I don't identify you as a cooning type of black a melanin person, I'm not gonna dig into you hard, man.
Yeah, and that's how I am. I'm not that type of person anyway.
One thing about the black man, people overlook.
What?
They could be a protector. So one thing they'll talk about, man in general, man can protect. So if you don't need no man, you don't need no protection then.
And it's easy to be conquered if you take the man out, or demasculate him, or you know take away his resources, take away his ability to feed you and protect the family. So that's an active thing that's going on. But go ahead. What do you want to say? I was
That
gonna go back.
is that is correct. I'll just gonna be some hot topics. A man is less pliable than a woman in
Mm-hmm.
general. So you can mold a woman to fit in your organization better because a
Mm-hmm.
man most likely will rebel.
Right.
Because we got something called what they call those testicles, and
Yes.
they produce testosterone, and that could turn into a bigger rage. That could turn into a warrior.
So do you think men are harder to, I guess, convince or manipulate than women are? And you
Yes,
think, okay, but I'm not sure if that's scientifically proven. But I'm just saying, I feel like sometimes it could be, it's easier to manipulate a woman than a man. And do you think that has to do with our testosterone, ego, or?
it can. Well, tell me. Let's just go back. Let's don't talk about today's term. Let's go back in history. When
Mhm.
they took over, when in overseas in the ancient time, when they took over another people, don't they usually kill the man and save the women?
Yeah,
Why they do that?
women and kids aren't threats, really. I'm not gonna say they had sympathy for them, but you can kill the men off and then take the kids and the women and take them into your clan and raise them as your own. So now they're part of your army. They're part of your allegiance. You know what I
Or
mean?
they could be good slaves
Or they
that
can be
won't
good slaves either. I mean, too
that
easier
won't.
to deal with. Slaves that are easier to deal with.
But yeah, you talking about ain't scientific proven. So you tell me this: why is the the most violent demographic is the males between 18 and 24? Why are they the most
Well,
violent demographic?
the brain hasn't developed yet. They're I guess they're growing into who they are, and it's just harder to control a male in that age range.
But you said it ain't scientific proven.
No, I didn't say it wasn't. I'm saying is it? Because we do want to state facts, and we want to, if we want to do an opinion, we'll say this is
I
our
just
opinion.
I just said a fact. Between 18 and 24, males are the most that's the most violent demographic in
Mhm.
America. That's a
So
fact.
why do you think that is?
Because they're young and they males.
But I
you
was
know,
just trying to figure out whether it had something to do with our chemistry. Like you say, testosterone. Sometimes your testosterone can, have you going all the way in the wrong direction. You know what I'm saying? And lower testosterone can be, you'll be more not lazy, but lackadaisical. You're more calm. You're not as, sporadic. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And maybe that's why women are a little more calculated sometimes and can be led a different way. And we're not trying to talk bad about women. It's just, biology. You know what I mean?
What's your favorite sport?
My favorite sport is basketball.
All right. One can view basketball as organized warriors,
Hmm.
organized war. That group of man versus this group of man.
Hmm.
Now, grouping up could take place anywhere. When grouping up is not organized, you know what you get, Brandon?
What?
Gangs and
Chaos?
clicks. You get
What?
gangs and clicks. So those warriors on the east side go against those warriors on the west side.
Hmm.
So, but but that's guys. That's I ain't never seen a strong gang of women.
Well, that's true.
Well, you
They
may
try to
have a
do about them
few,
Amazon, whatever that was with the Amazon women, but
and
like
that's
you
why they
say,
died off too.
it's just men are stronger and more dominant, and a group of women will always succumb to a group of stronger men. This is just how it is. But not to get too far off of boys, but like I say, I've learned so much from boys, and has that information has awoken a lot of stuff in me, a lot of thoughts in me, and I'm a better person because of that. So I'm not going to necessarily shit on anything or everything that he's doing now just because of that. But I'm mindful, like I say, if you sign a contract with somebody, if you're working with somebody, bad business does happen. And it's not always on purpose. Sometimes you just don't know, or sometimes things just happen, and that's just a part of business. I think as a man, if you make a mistake or you wrong somebody, I think you do need to apologize. I think sometimes that's looked upon as being weak, but no, we're all human. Lewis, if I make a mistake, if I do you a certain way, I will apologize. And that's part of being a real man, admitting to making a mistake or admitting to being wrong, or, however. But I
That's
think,
very that's very hard. It's very hard to do for individuals, man.
right,
To admit a mistake and apologize.
right.
For both
So
sexes, that's hard to do.
I think it just make you look weaker in this time and day we're in. So people kind of stay away from that. But I'm not too big to apologize. Like, I don't take things that personal where I'd rather let it go, tell you I'm sorry, than hold a grudge and be thinking about that all day, every day, and can't get past it. I'd rather get past something so I can work on the next thing. You know what I mean?
You be holding grudges that long?
No, I'm saying I'd rather not, but you can, like, if you're holding on to something like that and not apologizing, not letting it go, that stuff can eat at you and be thinking about it every day.
Man, I don't let that negative shit. I'm 0 to 100. So I get up there, then I let it like cool down most of the time. So I don't want to try to be thinking about a person they did this all the time. I ain't that type of person, man. I don't want to be that type of person.
Especially when we're supposed to be working together. Like, it just seemed like on YouTube, it's a lot of black people going at each other. And I know you don't always, you don't have to get along with everybody, especially if you don't like somebody, but going back and forth just for, views or whatever people are doing, it's just unnecessary. It's not productive. People feed off of the drama. They like to see that kind of stuff, and it just wastes our time. We don't have much time to make a change in our community. So the time we spend, we should be thinking about, building and learning new traits and new skills to make our community better.
Ain't nobody want to do that.
They rather roast. Go ahead.
They want negativity so they can escape their real
reality
life and go into somebody else's reality. And that's if people start concentrating on their own stuff, make sure you have your stuff set up for your kids. Make sure you're in a safe environment. Make sure you're getting your health care stuff right. People don't want to hear about that. That's why our channel don't get that many. We got 17 subscribers.
But I bet you we start beefing and doing all this stuff, yelling. People they're so used to seeing that, and it makes them feel good. It releases endorphins and all kind of stuff. They can't get enough of that. But if you're being calm and giving people information that they can use, making them think a certain way, make them think a different way, they tend to get bored with that kind of stuff. And I was gonna say, that's why I like how you kind of turn it up. You'll say something funny, like I'm just usually here just kind of talking and going off of you, but you mix it up a lot and do stuff like that. So it does bring a different entertainment value to our channel. So I do like that, and I do appreciate that. But
Nicole said Brandon can hold a good conversation. You see how and asking the question.
No, we need right. That's what I said. I'd rather be more of an interviewer, just kind of pacing the stuff, and you be more of an entertainer. Like so you have to have both of them. So that's what makes it good. And that's what makes it work.
Thing I don't do, Brandon. Why I ain't gonna beef on no internet or no text or no
post.
And
please, like, if we ever get into some internet beef or YouTube beef with somebody, let's not go back and forth. People always say they're gonna not do it, and then they end up doing it. And I don't want to do it. Like, we can address it, but let's do it in a different way, because it's just gonna go back and forth. Our views are gonna go up. We're gonna see that, and we're gonna be ready to,
They need to pull a Kevin Samuels. When people talk about you, you don't even say the damn thing. You just keep going. Keep on talking.
Right, keep on doing your thing. But you want to talk about Kevin Samuels, because we did a show before he died. Like I think the next day he died.
Yep,
he passed away. So I guess we can start from the top.
I can tell you this about Kevin. Our black community need to feel ashamed for ourselves, because a man died and people rejoices that, oh, I'm glad because this man stated an opinion.
Right. And that's all it was. He didn't call you to give you his opinion. You called him and he gave you an opinion. And like I said, I don't think he needs to be canceled. He's just an entertainer. Like, I don't view Kevin any different than Drake. Like, Drake or Future can say all kind of stuff on records about women, Kevin Samuels is doing the same thing on YouTube. So I just don't see it the same way. Like how I guess women are so offended by what he's saying. I'm offended by what he's saying, but he's an entertainer. You shouldn't take people's opinions so personally.
Well, here's the thing about Kevin. Kevin knew he's an excellent entertainer and he's very intelligent at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin knew people like to get lied to. And what
Mm-hmm.
made his channel popular, he asked a person to tell me the truth.
Right.
And sometimes Kevin gave you a warning before you asked it. He said, "Are you sure you want me to
Right.
go there?" And the
Right.
person
Yeah,
said,
he
"Yeah,
did.
tell me."
I remember that. Mm-hmm.
And he'll give his subjective view on the person. That's what he sees.
But you know what? He had a channel for a long time and he was doing different content. And
Mm-hmm.
nobody was watching it. He was doing cologne. He was trying to help men do this, XYZ.
He's still
Nobody want
man.
yeah,
Still,
but that's what I'm saying. But he saw a spike when he did certain things and trying to help people and be salacious with his content and be over the top, and that's what made him blow up like he did. Like I'm pretty sure he was always giving good advice and building on how he was delivering his advice, but it just got to a point where you know that's what the majority of people want to see. They want to see drama. They want to see messy. And at the time, nobody was really talking to women in that way, like a disrespectful way. Like I don't agree with what he was saying, but I mean he's stating his opinion about something in a joking kind of serious way, you know, and that's just how entertainers do sometimes. Just like Dave Chappelle would do some stand up and say something, you know, disrespectful, but it's entertainment.
damn, what I was about to say. Oh, I was listening to a guy very shortly named Diamond Dave. He
Mm-hmm.
said Kevin channel blew up. His channel was made for the audience supposed to be males, right?
Mm-hmm.
But his channel blew up when he brought the females, the ladies
Mm-hmm.
up there to talk. Because wherever the females go, the
Mm-hmm.
guys go come.
Right.
So once he started bringing those pretty women up
Which is
there to
sad.
talk,
Yeah.
they ain't sad.
No,
You
that's
know,
sad. I mean, it is, but it isn't. Because you know that other show, it's a Fresh and Fit show. They bring a bunch of Miami women on their
no, no,
show.
fuck them
It's a
motherfuckers.
okay.
I
Wait
said
a
it.
minute.
Oh, oh, sorry. Oh, I'm
If you
sorry.
want to keep that in there, but like I say, it's just it's. I don't compare them two, and they fell out with Kevin Samuels too. But you know, that's what men want to see. They for some
Nah,
reason they want to see that.
nah.
What?
Those they knew, man. They knew the backs, man. They knew the backs. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. They knew the
well,
backs.
well, they said some discouraging things, disheartening things about black women too. So how do you see it differently? Like you, why do you say that about them?
Well, let's state the facts. I know one is a first generation or
Like
the black
Jamaican or
the black guy, the black
Nigerian?
look, whoever.
Hmm.
He don't know about the struggles of a black man over here in America.
Uh-uh.
The other guy, I don't know who it is, but look like he's
He's
supposed to have a red,
Moroccan. He's
yeah,
like something
almost
like
with
that.
the red dot. No, he ain't the
No,
red
he's
dot.
not. He's a Arab. He's more like almost an Arab, I guess, or
There you go.
Sudan.
So,
No, he's Sudan. I think he's from Sudan or something like that.
well, he's the part of Sudan where the damn Arabian people been taking over. He ain't the black Sudan,
Right.
but
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know how they talk and how they can't handle themselves. And you talk about being disrespectful to women.
Mm-hmm.
Those fresh and French guys, they're a little more.
Yeah, it's a different type of disrespect. I think Kevin does it in a, you know, classy, like respectable way. Like he's still giving you his opinion,
Mhm.
but they like to tear you down. They tell you to shut up and all this other stuff. They kick you out. I think it's a way about how you deliver it. And I'm not saying Kevin was saying what he was saying was right or he should have said that. I don't talk to women that way, but I mean, I'm not Kevin Samuels. You know, he clearly it worked and people liked it because women still called up there whether they wanted the clout or they wanted real advice. I think he was giving some good advice cloaked in disrespect, so it was a win-win kind of.
Okay, let me think about Fresh and Fit a little bit. Hold on.
Go
I
ahead.
just, I just, they just don't feel
So
right. to
So
me.
did you ever really watch it? That's one of the channels I never really watched. As soon as I saw it, I knew it wasn't for me.
I
And
got a couple of hours. I got a couple of hours. I watched a couple of hours of their
okay.
stuff. But
I've
this,
watched more of it than that. So I kind of know what it is. But they're both saying the high value man thing, but it's on different levels. Like, I don't know. Their audience is more teenager. Kevin's
yeah,
audience is more grown men, but still some of the same dynamic. But it's just a more mature show what Kevin was doing.
did Fresh and Friend, did they preach playing on women?
Preying on them?
No,
Mm,
play P
yeah,
L
yeah, yeah.
A. Do
But
they preach that
I think so. I'm pretty sure like they have like dating manuals you can buy, or that kind of those kind of books
from a
where they teach you.
noodle bag? From a noodle bag.
Right, right. You're getting game from somebody that doesn't have any game really, but they've got success and money now, so that makes them, somebody you need to listen to, and that's what kind of culture we're in. And sometimes just being I'm not saying they're a good orator, but if you can talk and you have that kind of game, sometimes people will follow and listen to what you're saying, and you'll build a following on that.
Yeah, but hell, you right. Can't.
We going in on people today, but like I said, I
Now
don't
we ain't going
necessarily.
in. We ain't going in. We ain't going in.
We're not going in, but we're discussing some things that we don't like, which we normally don't do. But like I said, I don't necessarily like how they do it. I don't like what they said about black women. They said something about black women a different way, like they don't date black women. Kevin Samuels will give his opinion about a black woman, but he dates black women too. So it's a
He thinks
difference.
anybody pretty.
Right. So it's a difference, And one thing I saw a lot of YouTube people doing, they were playing his 911 what is it, the emergency call. I
Oh
don't like when
no,
people do
God,
that. I don't
they
like when
do it.
people do that. So, people like to do stuff like that and just try to do it for views, and it's just not a good thing to do. Like, I don't ever want to be a channel like that where we're doing stuff like that. That's personal stuff. That's somebody's his last moments, kind of when the lady was trying to revive him and stuff like that. That's something, that needs to stay off the internet, but it somehow gets on the internet anyway.
Like I said with Mr. Cameron Samuels, man, how they dragged the man name through the mud once he passed, but had nothing to say.
Right.
Really, no cap for once he was living.
And it's just not making any sense. Like, I would never be happy and celebrating online that somebody passed away, no matter what they said on. And Kevin Samuels don't even know you.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do anything to your family, any of that kind of stuff. He was saying stuff on the internet that you disagree with.
And guess what?
Go ahead.
All the people know what he was saying was damn near almost the truth,
Right.
and
I think it's
statistically the truth.
right. And I think hearing that, I think scared a lot of people. So they kind of was like, wow, like it really might be over for me if I have X amount of kids finding a man. Like, it's not 100%, but it's getting up there. You like 80%. Like, finding love is hard already. You're gonna throw that on top of it. It just makes it hard.
Let me ask you a question. I want to see how I prove Kevin's point.
Mm-hmm.
What is the chances of a person getting married at 70 years old?
It's about 10%.
What's the chances of a person getting married at 60
Well, you should
years
say
old?
finding love. You say
married.
find
We're talking about marriage.
Okay. No, I'm saying finding love and getting married, because you can just marry somebody just to marry them.
I don't want to dig that deep into it.
Okay,
I just want to
okay.
go by the U.S. What the U.S. called marriage.
Okay, go ahead.
What's the percentage at 60 years old?
Probably double that. I say 20.
How about 50?
Still 20. I think it's 20. When you hit about 40 years old, you're probably about 40% of getting married, chances of getting married, and then it starts to go down every year after that.
Why is that?
Because you're out of your prime, number one.
Brandon, you are polarizing people, Brandon. You polarizing people, Brandon.
But
stop doing this hate.
But you know what?
With the butcheristic. What they call it with a show this down the mausoleum. They used to call them when a guy talks down to women. all the
Oh,
time.
misogyny? Like
Yeah.
I'm being misogynistic?
Oh, so you misogynistic now, Brandon, for stating those facts? I think all the audience will almost agree. What's the odds of getting married when you're 100 years old? So it says the higher your age, the more probability you won't get married, and that's a human fact.
And I think what people miss is this society is built on looks. For the most part, everybody cares about looks. So at a certain point, your looks start to go down. So if our society is based on looks, your percentage of finding a partner is going to go down, especially if that's what you have. I'm not saying that's all you have to bring to the table, but that's what you're showing. That's what everybody's showing us, how nice they look.
Let's do it. Let's prove another one of his arguments. This could go for males, and females.
Mm-hmm.
What is your energy at the age of 20? How much energy do a male and female have at the age of 20?
A lot. That's when you're probably at your max. 20 to 25 is when you're at your max energy.
How about the age of 30?
It dips a lot.
How about 40?
It just keeps getting worse. Like you're probably at 50% at 40.
So let me tie this together. So if you have a child has a lot of energy, right?
That's true. Mm-hmm.
Would it be more beneficiary for a person to have a child at 30 or 50?
30.
So do you agree you should have a child out of marriage?
Yes.
So if it's more likely for you to get married at a lower age, and it's better for you and the child to have a child at a low age due to energy, why will you revoke against those statements?
It's because they don't like how it was presented. Like if we said it like we just did, it makes a lot of sense. But the way Kevin said it is the same thing. It's just a more blunt in how people don't like to take information. Kevin
Samuels didn't break it down. He just said the facts. You see how I had to lead you, guide a person?
And not only that, it's a lot of videos where Kevin Samuels did the same thing we just did and kind of broke it down that way. But it's, if you're doing 50 hours of content, he probably has about a minute or about 5 minutes worth of times where he went disrespectful, but that's just part of, recording content and just saying stuff. It's not like, he goes live too. So you're just saying anything. You're just saying whatever comes to your mind. So it's not always going to be clean cut when you're doing stuff like that.
Brandon, can I ask you another question to prove one of his arguments?
Go ahead.
What is the average height for a male in America?
Average height is what, 5'10" maybe?
Around about 5'9", ain't it? All right, Brandon, how tall are you?
I'm 6'4".
How many people do you see taller than you in your life on a daily basis?
Maybe like 5%.
5%.
Maybe, yeah. And no, it's not even that. It's not even that much. It may be like 3%. It's not many people that are taller than me. I may see 4 people that are taller than me in a year. You know what I'm saying? And that's being straight up.
Okay. All right. Okay. So being over a certain height is very limited in our human population, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why would a person goes to be chasing that 1 out of 1,000 or 1 out of 5 out of 1,000? Why that should be your goal, and you have to keep that standard,
right?
Where everybody want that 1 out of 1,000. Everybody want that lottery ticket, that winning lottery ticket.
I hate to say it, but women are wrong when they looking for a tall man. That doesn't mean anything. Like you can look for a tall man, that's fine. If you find one, that's fine. But you can't denigrate somebody that's 5'9" just because he's not tall enough. And we saw that a lot on Kevin Samuels' show. I want a tall man. He has to be over 6'2", and that's just not realistic. And that's why he got upset, and that's why he got mad sometimes at women, because they don't get it. You got 3 kids. You can't be this picky. You can be, but you may be alone because of how picky you are. And that's fine. Marriage is about compromise. And if you're not willing to compromise, you may be single.
You're right.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but if your goal is to get married and you put a lot of what I want to say, you just put a lot into the marriage and that life. If you're not married, it's going to mean a lot to you, and you're going to take that statement to heart.
You will. Let's do another one.
Go ahead.
Brandon, what's the average income? This is for all Americans. What's the average income for a American today?
I want to say it's probably lower than this, but I want to say about 30. Well, no, for the average man, it's about
no.
Well, just everybody combined with
everybody combined in America.
Okay, I would just say 40,000.
I think the number is around 54. I think the number is around 54, and a family is like 70 something.
Okay.
All right. So if most people make 54,000 in America, what's the odds of you finding a person that makes
250? Well, 6 figures?
Or they're just over, okay, 250, 150, 120, 110. What's the odds of that?
It's not good. It's like Kevin was saying, and some of the other people saying, only 5% of men make $250,000. I think they were saying, what, 25% maybe, or 10% make 100,000. And like, you can find somebody that's making 100,000, but when you think about it, $60,000 to $100,000, $40,000 seems like a lot, but that's not going to impact your life that much where you need to cancel somebody out in your dating life because they're not making what you think they should be making. Do you agree?
I agree. Cause watch this. On my taxes last year, it said I made $100,000. But how much money did I live off? Brandon, guess how much money I lived off? How much money came in my pocket off 100,000?
70?
$36,000. so when people,
oh, you mean like after you pay bills? What do you mean?
No.
What you mean?
I'm talking about the money I had to work with, to spend, to live.
Okay.
So on paper, I made 100,000 on paper. But if you calculate how much I had to spend, $36,000.
And were you struggling to make ends meet?
By the grace of God, I don't struggle to make ends meets, but I do struggle on my wants. So let's put it like that. You see how it works? I don't struggle to make ends meets, but I struggle on my wants.
Right. But let me ask you a question. Like,
yeah,
I think that makes life worth living sometimes, like wanting things. Like, I think if you had everything you wanted, it wouldn't make life as good as it is, like, because it wouldn't mean as much to you. You get what I'm saying? So sometimes if you don't have things, you can work towards them. You know, it kind of gives you purpose. I'm not saying working towards things is the only thing you should live for, but you may be happier than somebody that's a billionaire that can just buy anything, have anybody they want, because they might not really have true love or true friendship or true happiness. So it's just something to think about.
Well, Brandon, I'm going to say this about your statement. Be very careful with that a snake on both sides statement you just delivered. Because your joy comes from the Lord. Your joy don't come from any worldly possessions.
That's true.
So if you put your joy in your car outside and your car gets smashed up in an accident, are you going to kill yourself because you got in a car accident? If you put your joy in Michael Jordan tennis shoes and you go to the club, somebody step on both of your shoes, are you going to lose your joy because somebody stepped on your shoes?
You might, but you shouldn't.
You see?
But I think that's a good thing that people don't have in their mind. They don't have put God first. And that's why I say that's not the only thing. But in the world we live in, people put God second, third, fourth. You know, it's just not our main focus when it should be.
You're right. Now, I could get pleasure from worldly possessions, but don't watch out when it brings you joy. Because if it brings you joy, that's the devil say, I got you. The devil is setting you up to knock you down.
Right. And I think that's what happens sometimes with money and making a lot of money and doing business deals. And people get so excited and they want to buy things, and that just becomes their world, and they kind of forget about God. And you never ever want to forget about God when you're getting success. And I think people think it's all them, and I did this all alone, I did this on my own. No, you did it with God, but you can be led to the devil, getting riches. So you have to be mindful of that.
You're right. I was thinking about a Jay-Z verse. He said, I don't want too much. I drove every car. I just like some good cooked food, something like that.
Right.
Just simple. See, and he's super rich. The simple stuff.
Right.
So, but be careful where you find your joy. Don't put joy in people. Don't put joy in material things. Your joy should come from the Lord. I remember with Paul, they had Paul up in that jail cell, and people came to visit him. Boy, how Paul was bragging about Jesus. I said, damn, Jesus must be a bomb ass friend. He was in jail talking all positive. Yeah, man, I got this and that. I said, damn, Paul, Jesus did you like that? And and that's what kind of joy you need to have.
Right.
When Paul was overly happy sitting in that jail cell. Talking about Jesus.
And that's the thing you don't see. Who you see online talk about how good God has been to them. Like, I think about it and I, ponder on that, but we don't necessarily say it. We don't necessarily do it. And people don't necessarily want to hear it. God, like I say, God tends to be an afterthought, or we'll think about him on Sunday.
You think about it when things are going good.
Well, you say you'll think about God when things are going good.
You'll praise God with
that's true,
with the good things. But remember, if you know God, God said, "I reign on the just and the unjust." Jesus said, "Let those tares, which is a weed, grow up with the wheat, and when that day comes, we'll separate the two." So that means the people in the world, evil people. God blessing the evil people too, man.
Right. That's true.
He blessed.
He has to look out for everyone, number one, but he's gonna give them blessings too. And somebody told me one time, God doesn't test you. How do you feel about that? Do you think God tests you?
Who told you that dumbass statement?
It was somebody. It was a lady I worked with a long time ago. I would say God will have tests. He'll test you. He'll have tests for you to do and see how you do. They told me God don't test you.
I forgot the man, not Jonah, but it was a guy. The devil went to God, said, "Hey, God, I want to mess with this guy right here." God said, "You can do anything you want to do to him. Just don't take his life." So the devil said, "Okay, I'll go take his wife. I'll go take his kids. I'll go take everything he got."
Yeah, I remember that story.
And let's see, when all that stuff took him, is he still go praise God? And guess what happened?
He still did it.
He still praised God. God do everything we do as a dad. You think all this?
That's how I feel.
The damn devil, Jesus was in the wilderness praying, eating locusts and strawberries.
Right. You don't think that's a test, right? You don't think that's a test, or his raft? Just
then the devil came up to him. Hey, man, you're about to die tomorrow, right? I know you out here talking to God, but you about to die tomorrow. But I can tell you what I'm gonna do to you. Now, you get down on your knees right now and praise me. Everything you see, I'll let you control. If you get down, he was in the wilderness. You get down on your knees, praise me. Jesus looked at him. I forgot what he said. A man came, something. Next thing you know, he was getting crucified the next day. He said, you think everything comes from the Lord. So if the Lord don't test us, who else tests us?
That's true.
The devil got to get permission to mess with us.
There you go.
And God let him do it. And God let him do it too. God let him do it. Go ahead and mess with him. See what we got.
Right. That's a good point.
I was thinking about this last night. It was a funeral I went to last year. And the preacher said, the devil could take your body, but not necessarily your soul. I'm going to say it again. The devil could take your body, but not necessarily the soul. That means the devil could come in your life, bring harm to you. You get shot on the street in Baltimore. yeah, the devil could have took your body, but where's your soul going? Is your soul going to the Lord, or your soul going to the devil? So
That's
just
a good
remember
point.
that.
Yeah.
You see all these kids getting killed and baby little kids getting killed and stuff. They ain't nothing but the devil. But
Right.
where the soul going? So you got to get ready, because you never know where the devil gonna come and try to stick you up. And you end up getting shot in your damn chest.
Right. Speaking of which, did you see about the shooter, the mass shooter that they had in Buffalo?
Shit, which one? They were shooting in Baltimore last week.
Oh yeah. Well, I think yesterday they had an active shooter who they turned out was a white supremacist, and I think he shot
10
11.
people.
He shot 13. I think he shot 13 people. 11 of them were black, and the other 2 were, whatever race. But I think they were saying he had the N-word written on one of his pistols. I think he had a bunch of high-power fire rifles.
Mhm.
But they tell us that, racism isn't in America. We shouldn't worry about white, it's no such thing as white supremacy or KKK. These groups, they exist, but it's just the Boy Scouts.
I'm reading this book right here.
Mm-hmm.
And the number one method white people get all cold for racism, you gotta deny it at all costs. you gotta deny it at all costs.
That's a good point.
In their eyes, I did not call a person the N-word. In their eyes, I did not join the KKK. In their eyes, I did not fire this person or did something to this person because they black.
Mm-hmm.
They have to deny it all the time. But this book breaks down.
Who is it written by? Who is it written by? Because that's a good point.
A white lady. Written by a white lady talk about white people. So this person right here. Written by a white lady talk about white people. And she breaks down racism is like the 3rd step. First, you got prejudice. What's prejudice, Brandon?
Just favoring a race over another. Or not necessarily a race, but just favoring something over another.
There you go. Discrimination. What's discrimination?
Treating another group or something differently than you're treating something else.
Now watch this. Everybody is prejudiced. Everybody, black, white, yellow, whoever. Discrimination. Everybody has discrimination. Black, white, whoever. And guess what's the 3rd level is? Racism. What is racism?
Racism is you hating somebody because of their race. And that
sounds like
solely alone.
Sound like prejudice.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess it has like what do you think? Because we can be racist, we can hate a race, but I think it's deeper than that. Like, I don't think you can be racist without power and control and being able to enforce certain things.
All right, I didn't put it in here, but racism is when your prejudice and your discrimination is backed up by laws and institutions and society. Right. You see, so that you take the first 2, then you racism. Hey, it is what it is. You can't stop it. It's always going to be there. See, a black person, you can have 2 out of 3, but you can't have the 3rd one here in America.
Yeah. You could have it, but it don't mean anything. It's not something that's real. You know what I'm saying?
What kind of authority you have?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can pretend like you have it, or but it's not real.
Damn, let's see where I put it. I want to put it at.
Like, could a person from Africa come over here and be racist towards African Americans?
Of course. What's the CEO of Tesla? He's African American. What's his name?
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. He's African American. He can be racist,
right? And that's why being African American doesn't work. You got to be either foundational Black American, just a Black American, or something else. He might be more African than we are. Like, depending on his roots.
Oh, gee, Brandon, if you use today's terms, he's African American. All right.
Okay.
Now his people probably came from Europe, but He came from South Africa, and he's over here now, African American.
Right. He's been over there. We hadn't even been over there yet.
Here's her definition of racism, kind of. It's when a racial group collective prejudice is backed by a power of legal authority and institutional control. It is transformed into racism. So you got to have legal authority and institution control. Banks, schools, government, institutions, they back that stuff. That's racism. And you were saying going back to Africa? Shit, I ain't making to California yet. Man, I'm going back to Africa yet. Yeah, I ain't been to California. Do what? And to do what in Africa?
That's what I'm asking. Personally, what's something you would want to do? I know I want to see some pyramids and just see the desert, be out there, do stuff like that. See some of because I'm just into historical stuff. I want to see some of the landmarks and the monuments and just stuff like that. I'm just into that. Now I want to see how it feels to be in Africa, compared to America.
Now I may not want to go to Egypt because those Arabian people are pop with AKs over there. But if I go, I like to see the safari part of Africa.
Yeah, I would want to do that too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you talking about the desert, the northern part. I like to see safari part of Africa with the animals and stuff
for
like
sure.
that.
Right, for sure. What about Dubai? Because I know a lot of people like to go to Dubai. I'm not sure we talked about that either, but
Dubai, Africa.
I know. I'm just saying, this places want to go. I know Dubai is not it, but they treat us. They don't like us, So how do you feel about places that don't?
What you mean they don't like us?
They look down to African Americans for sure, and they just don't like black people. They just, it's just always kind of been that way.
Well, like I said in the videos, ain't nobody like your black
but that's what I'm saying. So how do you feel about going places where people don't like you? Like if you went to some places in, I'm not gonna say Europe, but just places that, like if you went to the Ukraine, they don't necessarily like you, and they have a lot of racist stuff just like in America towards you, but might be worse. How would you feel going to a place like that?
I won't go to a place if I'm not accepted. And what the hell is in Ukraine? So
it's something there because they trying to take over.
The cousin, brothers and brothers fighting for the mama's land. That's all it is. I want mama's house, so I'll go fight my brother for mama's house. So don't fool me. Ukraine, what they was born in 1992. Ooh, they real old. I'm older than them. I'm older than Ukraine.
Right, that's crazy.
But hey, only go somewhere where people appreciate you. Like we seen this for black people. It's crazy. Black people in the 60s. I want to have my rights to eat at a lunch counter and white folks serve me. Why you want to eat at a lunch counter? White folks don't even like you, and they spitting in your food in the back, and you fighting to eat there. I gotta get that hamburger in that place. I wanted that milkshake.
Right,
man, you sound crazy.
You sound crazy, I guess, with what we know now. But at the time, I guess wouldn't you be trying to do the same thing? You might think to do the same thing. If you don't see the world like now it feels like you can do almost anything. Back then it didn't seem like you could do anything you wanted to do, even though some people did it. And we did create our own places, our own restaurants, because out of force, we were forced into doing that, and that might have been the better option.
And time to take your order. They put that thing on it. That means spit in the plate. And you talking about back then, this stuff happened today.
Yeah.
When you see people on their receipt, they put in where spin in the plate.
Oh yeah, people do that. I haven't seen any stories like that, but
you never see a receipt when the customer and they wrote like an N-word or monkey or this and that. It's on the internet. They do that today. It's not 2022, but they did it in 2021. They put that thing on here, and that's where you want to eat at. That's what you want to eat at.
Right. But I think it's important to have our own places where you can feel comfortable and welcomed. But you don't see a lot of those.
and how the people who treat Kevin Samuel come up in there and treat your place like that, go on the internet and rag you out. That's what we want.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. That's weird to see. That's not godly either. Like, it's not Christian. Like, I don't. You can't even explain that to God. How you gonna explain that to God?
And they talk about karma. Karma is not Christianity. That's Buddhism. You ain't no Buddhist.
Right.
Take that out your damn lip. One thing about religion people do, they pick things they like and don't follow the things they don't like.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Pick things they like and don't follow they don't like. Raise a child, if you raise a child in any way, that child will grow up being that way.
Yeah, that's true.
And all our kids, not all, but a lot of our kids are on the wrong path today. Why they on the wrong path today? Because the parents didn't raise them right.
Right.
And then we want to blame somebody else. We want to blame the black woman. We want to blame the black man. We want to blame the system, the white man. No, the problem is, like Michael Jackson said, look in the mirror.
Right.
Look in the mirror. You think you're 8, but you're really a 4. Look in the mirror and quit lying to yourself.
But like you're saying, being a parent is not easy, and it's a 24/7 job. Like, it's just you can't take time off, because whatever you're not teaching your kid, or when it's downtime, they're getting information, they're processing stuff, they're taking stuff in. So if you're not talking to your kids and seeing what they're looking at and watching and seeing what they're talking about in schools, you just won't know what they're going to grow into.
Here's another thing. It's a study that says, now we go talk about rats.
Okay.
But it's a study that says if the parents hug and love on their kids from the age 0 to 6, those kids are less likely to be violent or something bad happen to them while they get older. Now, what are the parents doing in the black community, Brandon? Are they at home with the kids?
Not to generalize, but a lot of people are out partying. They're dropping their kids off at different people's house so they can do whatever they want. Sometimes they have to go to work, so they have to drop their kids off. And if you work in a job, if both parents are working a job and they're not married or whatever, they're not working it out. It's the school. You're gonna be at, your kids gonna be waking up. They're gonna be going to school. You're gonna be going to work. You're gonna pick them up at the end of the day, and you're gonna eat with them and then go to sleep. So it's not much time where you're instilling stuff in them. And if when they get out of school, you going out or doing other stuff, that's just less time where you're giving them love, you're teaching them, you're talking to them, you're explaining stuff to them. So
no love. If you give a child no love, they have a hard time dealing with conflict as they get older. They result to violence. And here's another thing people don't know. A man and a woman, when y'all have a baby and the baby is still inside the mom, does the environment and the stress level, does it matter? Does it matter?
Yeah, of course. You have to you have to touch the belly. You have to interact with the baby inside the womb. You have to be playing calming music. It can't be an erratic environment.
Science says your environment, your feelings, your stress level can alter that child DNA. So when your child is born, your child would take on those stress levels, would take on that smoking, drinking, all that stress will come to your child. It'll be encoded in your DNA. People may think I'm lying. I think the name of it is hold on, don't give me the damn lie. Hold on. Projetics. Let me see.
But no, I agree though. When my wife was pregnant, we looked into research and some of the things to do. You're supposed to play music. You're supposed to read books to your baby, because the baby can pick up on all of that kind of stuff just being in the womb. And like you say, all that kind of information is being processed into their DNA while they're inside growing.
Yeah, I can't even remember the word, but it's a gene. It's temporary. A child could change that,
Mhm.
but if you don't work on it, you could take that stress level throughout that whole entire child's life. So keeping your spouse and your spouse stress-free in a good environment is very important. Thank you for watching, and if you like the content, do not be afraid to hit that like button and the subscribe button, and don't forget to share it out. Man, we got videos dropping every single week, and we surely appreciate your time, and we can't wait to hear back from you. Leave a comment, leave a like, and guys, make sure you have a good day. God bless you. Take it easy.